is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your love shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. See with new eyes, allow and unfold, embrace and let go. Trust the flow. There's a freedom in love when you follow your heart. Together we're stronger than we can ever be apart. No matter who or what you call yourself, or where you come from, yeah, there is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much better when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. Breathe in and out. Slowly feel all that's around you. All that you feel, all that you know. Let it let go. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much better when we unite. When we unite. When we unite. When we unite. You are welcome here. Love is welcome here. Peace is welcome here. You are welcome here. Please stand as you are able and join us in We Shall Be Known.
We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change
of life from deep within the earth.
It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle around to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap
the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth.
It is
Time now. It is time that we strike. It is time we lead ourselves into the world.
It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in
Love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love.
In this great turning we shall learn to lead in
Love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love.
Let's keep going.
I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world. I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world. And I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright. And I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright. You are a light, you are a light, you are a light in this world. You are a light, you are a light, you are a light in this world. And you shine, and you shine, and you shine so bright. And you shine, and you shine, and you shine so bright. We are alive, we are alive, we are alive in this world. We are alive, we are alive, we are alive in this world. And we shine, and we shine, and we shine so bright. And we shine, and we shine, and we shine so bright.
Thank you, Millie Edwards, Reverend Fred, and the UCOP Band. Good morning, Unity Church of Overland Park. I'm Reverend Jackie Fernandez, and it is my great joy to be with you this morning. Those of you in the room at the round tables, and those of you who are in our virtual balcony on Facebook and YouTube, welcome, welcome.
And good morning as well. I'm Reverend Eileen Stulak, your Associate Minister. Good morning.
Good morning. I got my boogie shoes on today.
We got sparkle going all
Yes,
around
we
here with
do.
Chief's
We
red
had a
here
good
today.
time Friday night at our Fall Faith Gala, did we
Yes.
not? Yes. Thank you to our Leadership Council and to every single volunteer who contributed to the raffle prize packages or to creating the space so that we could have such a good time. Let's give a round of applause to everyone. And of course, I'm so grateful for the staff who put in many, many hard hours and lots of work and made the sparkle in my shoes that much brighter.
There you go. There you go.
Let's, what do you guys think? Yeah, let's give the staff a round of applause. Do you guys want to know the success that we experienced, our abundance? So we cleared $17,000. Yes. $17,300. And here's the good news. If you were unable to attend today, you may give and it will go toward that fund. And so we can raise that amount. Even today, what you'll want to do is give online, or you can give here in the cafe.
Yeah, absolutely.
After service. If you're watching from the balcony, you can go ahead and go to our website and just select the Fall Faith donations as your designated funds. We also, some of you who have been to the cafe already looking for coffee might have passed the wine. Right? Are we serving wine on Sunday morning? Well, that is the wine draw. We had some bottles left over for $20. You get a number and you get to win, guaranteed win. So it's a little different than the raffle. It's a guaranteed win for a bottle of wine, and most of them are well over $20 value.
Oh, yeah.
And they are delicious. Fred brought one to our table Friday night and opened it up and shared it with us, and it was very good. Yes. Yeah, so don't leave it to the ministers to have to take all that home.
Well, leave one.
One or
Leave
two,
one.
right? One or two. So let's take this joy and this knowing of an abundant universe into prayer this morning as we celebrate this day, the day that God as us has made. We rejoice and we are glad in it. We say thank you, God, for the abundance that flows in and through this community, this spiritual beacon of light. Unity Church of Overland Park. For 50 years, this idea has been made manifest by so many loving souls, generous hearts. We stand on the shoulders of those who came before us. We shine in the light of those who are here with us now, and we look toward a bright future in unity. We are grateful for this day and this opportunity to gather, to know who and whose we are, to have a new thought about ancient teachings in a space where all are truly welcome, all are truly affirmed, as we know and behold the spark of the divine in each and every one. We affirm one of our foundational affirmations in unity together. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life. God, the source of all good.
And as we continue in this time of prayer, we want to take a moment or two to just acknowledge the prayer requests that have been sent to the ministry over the past week or so. Many of them filled with gratitude for us, for each other, for the knowing that we are here to hold another's prayer in our hearts with them and on their behalf. And also more specifically, prayers affirming a new life direction relative to careers, continued healing for physical challenges being moved through, and divine order for various things going on in one's life, just affirming that it's all in good and divine order. And so as we share these prayers with another, they touch us as well. And so let us take into our hearts a blessing of gratitude, a blessing of healing in any form, and divine order in our lives as well. As we move throughout this day and all those yet to come, we do so guided by Spirit within, and for that and for so much more, we are so grateful. So we release these prayers and let God do God's thing in and through and as us. And so it is. Amen.
Amen.
Fire! Fire!
Good morning, everybody. I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Tony, and we have a few announcements to share with you this morning. First, we want to say thank you to everyone who helped make our fall gala and fundraiser this past Friday a success. Reverend Jackie will have more to share a bit later in the service.
And also tomorrow is the Good Faith Network's Research Kickoff Meeting. This is being held at Atonement Lutheran Church on Metcalf and 98th Street, and it begins at 6 p.m. This meeting offers information on 4 current initiatives, including the new initiative of elder care, which Reverend Eileen has been asked to co-chair. You can then decide if you'd like to volunteer to assist in researching and developing viable solutions to the issues over the next few months. We hope that you'll consider attending and getting involved in ways that work best for your schedule.
And everyone is invited to join together for the Folksgiving Potluck Brunch this coming Saturday, November 23rd, from 10 a.m. to noon. Our Folks with Faith team group started this tradition a couple of years ago and is expanding it this year to include both the queer community and allies. The church will provide ham and turkey, along with coffee and other beverages, and everyone is invited to bring a dish to share. We hope to see you there.
I can't believe it's almost Thanksgiving. That's amazing. Okay, so let's join together now in speaking the joint vision statement of the Unity Movement. A world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening.
Thank you, Tiffany and Tony. Thank you, Millie Edwards.
Early in the morning, lying in my bed, thinking about a dream I had. The pictures were fading fast, noticing the music in each scene, and a peace beyond the world. I recall that I couldn't dwell in what was wrong, couldn't care about what was gone. The message on the stereo was strong, saying one day the pain goes, and one day we see what really matters in life. All dreams is the music of love in each scene, and I'm ready to listen now. I've heard your voice before. Your way has been calling me. Now I'm walking through the open door. I'm ready to listen now. I'm ready to listen, Lord. I dreamed that we were old and very sad. We were lost with no memory. Fear and depths of grief were painted on the sorrows in our heart, when suddenly the voice of love was heard, and it touched us, and one by one the memories began to come, and who we were in God began to shine. We watched all the pain go, but now we could see that what really matters in life or in dreams is the music of love in each scene. And I'm ready to listen now. I've heard your voice before. Your way has been calling me. Now I'm willing to be so much more. I'm ready to listen now. I'm ready to listen, Lord. Suddenly the voice of love was heard, and it touched us, and one by one the memories began to come, and who we were in God began to shine. We watched all the pain go, for now we could see that what really matters in life or in dreams is the music of love we hear in each scene. Ready to listen now. I've heard your voice before. Your way has been calling me. Now I'm willing to be so much more. I'm ready to listen now. I'm ready to listen, Lord. Your way has been calling me. Now I'm walking through an open door. I'm ready to listen now. I am ready. I am ready to
I must have missed rehearsal.
I'm going to open the curtains so they can see us now. Yes, there we go. Hi.
Hey there.
It is Ask a Minister Sunday, one of my favorite traditions. Sunday after our Fall Faith Gala, we always have the Ask a Minister. One, so no one has to give a talk, because we've been busy. And two, because it gives an opportunity after you have spent time meeting in small groups to toss some questions our way and to have some further exploration from anything throughout this series. And so we have some really good questions. They have seen them in advance, but we have not discussed the questions. So we'll all be surprised and very interested to see.
altar, particularly white were calling me, and some rose water. I use them now before my evening prayer practice. So it's a way of centering and deepening in before moving into my prayer practice.
Thank you. What you
Up
got?
next?
Yeah.
Solitude. Solitude it re-resonated in me because it's something that I have practiced for probably the last 25 years or so. But it was the first time I saw it put into words as to why I've become so comfortable with that. Because the way this author said it was that, solitude is a place where you get comfortable with your own self. And from the first 40 years of my life, I wasn't there. I had a lot of self-esteem issues and things like that where I didn't like myself very much. And then things started to shift, and the more they shifted, it was like, oh, I like myself. I'm okay, kind of thing. And I liked being with myself. And so it just really naturally morphed into a practice of just making sure that I find time to just be with me and no one or no thing else. And I've done that for over 24 years now. And what I've enjoyed about it the most, in addition to just the peace, and my word is contentment. If I'm not content, I'm just really out of sorts. And what I find is the more I nurture that, that's what I'm giving out as well. And so when I'm in someone else's presence, I would hope that some of that, whether it's in a time of joy or a time of challenge, that contentment will find its way into the space that we're sharing. So that one has been a renewed importance to me through this book.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to hear you say that. I remember talking about it, and there was one specific line in the book, and I think I'm paraphrasing, but it was something like, despair, or loneliness is the despair of being alone, and solitude is the joy, the glory of being alone. And that was so profound.
It was.
Yeah, I'm glad you remembered that. Yeah, that was really beautiful. Well, for me too, personal altar is the one that stood out. Now, I am a fire sign. I've shared this with you before. I'm a double fire sign, so rising and falling and going and coming and all of that is fire. So I resonated with all of these, and especially given the context of seeing these spiritual practices as fire. But also, if you remember when we started, I had just returned from sabbatical. And so this series has really been important to help me integrate so much of what I experienced on sabbatical. And when I was in Peru, I received this Mastana altar, a personal altar, and I had to carry it with me everywhere. And as I shared with you, there was a lot of everywhere that I was carrying this, up many stairs and down many stairs and across a lot of land and mountains. And I brought it every week that I was here throughout this series. And so it's become a ritual in this space as well. And it is a working, functional altar. So everything on it is very specific, and there's a very specific way to close it up and travel with it. And even between Sundays, I have used it. I kind of got into the habit of keeping it closed and bundled up. So some of you have seen it as a bundle. When we did our Dia de los Muertos Sunday, it was on the altar as a bundle and just bundled up so that we could have space for all the wonderful things that you all brought in. And even when it's bundled, it's functional. And so really being with this personal altar and having it with me on my person, as opposed to in my home or in a designated space all of the time, it's that too, has been really meaningful to me and has just given me a different relationship with altar. And even yesterday, I had the privilege to marry a couple in a park, and I used the bundle in part of the wedding ceremony as part of our saging and invoking the directions and the elements. The ceremony took place at sunset, which is also moonrise. And the moon has been beautiful this weekend, so bright with the fullness it was on Friday night for our gala. But still, even yesterday was very bright in the sky. So that, I think, has been the thing that's really resonated with me. It's helped me to integrate so much of what I experienced on sabbatical, top to bottom, and especially in Peru, where I had a lot of ceremony that is represented in my personal altar. And so really working with that and through that has been a joy. All right, ready for the next question?
Let's go.
Okay, it's long, so I'm going to read it. It's not as long as the third question, though. Okay. So, how can we know if fires, spiritual practices, are calling to our deeper purpose and soul versus just passing human curiosities of the unknown, especially when considering working with some of the heavier fires, such as plant medicine? And I'll just say the first thing that catches my attention is the phrase heavier fires as plant medicine. And so I really spent some time reflecting on that, on maybe some of the more familiar fires seem lighter, and maybe some of the less familiar seem heavier, or some that I know are going to have a deeper, more profound effect on me might feel heavier. So I really kind of worked with that of what is meant by heavier. But I'm curious how this question landed with you. Who wants to go? Okay, I see the mic going.
I'll jump in, and I just figured it makes sense since you went first last time. One of the things for me is really getting clear on self-awareness and recognizing what my spiritual yes is. That's been really something that I've been developing through my spiritual practices for many, many years. And it's to the point now that my spiritual yes is felt in my body. And I feel it as a tingling, glowing, like as though I've been lit up inside. And I will tell you, when Millie hit those notes at the end of that song, I was feeling it. And it was that joy. It's like spirit saying, yes, this is pure soul right here, right now in the room. And I could feel that energy of it. And that's for me, happens in a lot of things. You know, when I felt, the call to ministerial school, that's a big one. And I had to sit with that a lot. And what's really interesting is there's that first impulse, that's that spiritual light. And then my ego logic kicks in and either tries to confirm through rationality the feeling that I just felt, or it tries to deny it and say, oh, you didn't feel that. That's just crazy talk. You don't really want to do that, right? So I've had to get really clear on how to move through that, which for me is a process of journaling. So I'm presencing what's coming up, and then moving into prayer and noticing where the feelings are coming back up. But I always start with when I feel that inner fire, that light moment, pay attention, and then begin to do the discernment practice from there.
Beautiful. Feeling that yes in your body, so powerful. Such an important part of the practice too, because none of these are required, right? None of these is required to truly interface with the divine in you. The divine is already in you, so these practices don't bring you closer to the divine. It's already as close, right? Nearer than the air. Already as close as it can be. But what happens is it allows a space. We create a space in which our mind can get still and our heart can open, and we feel and experience a greater experience of the divine. What you got?
Well, thank you. That's, when I was thinking about this, that's the first thing is how do you get your yes or your no internally? But also, what's wrong with trying something out? We go, okay, what's for my highest and best spiritual good? Yeah, that's all good, but what the heck? Why don't I try this thing? If it's not for my best spiritual good, I'm going to find out one way or another, right? And who's to say that I can't go, oh, this was a bad idea. I'm sorry, this was a bad idea, and I can turn around and check in again. If that's, what, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Let me see what there is for me to do. Or just say, shoot, that didn't work. What's next? I mean, sometimes we get so, we want to do the right thing, right? I've never had that issue. But say, okay, how open am I to this idea, first of all, and how open am I to this experience, and is it something that I want to explore? Maybe there's something here that is outside of my realm of experience, something that's different for me. Maybe the resistance that I get is not saying, don't do this. Maybe it's saying, this is new to you. This is something completely different. It's not in your bag of tricks. Maybe explore it a little bit. And you can explore it in experience. You can also explore it in imagination. You can explore it in various ways. Don't just say no to it outright if there's something interesting to you.
Yeah, I love that. And that's, I think to what you're saying, Jen, is being in practice of knowing your own personal yes or no and how that feels in your body, then you can get clear. Because if you feel resistance, that doesn't necessarily equate a no. That just might be, I think this is actually going to give me a very profound experience of the holy, and I don't know if I can handle it. That might be that kind of resistance. And it's the practice, which is why we call them practices, but the practices of being in tune with your body, with your mind, and what your true yeses are, what your nos are, and what your habituated resistance is, because we all have that, and then slowing down enough. I talk a lot about not engaging inner violence, right? We don't want to force ourselves into a scenario. So it could be a not now, maybe later. Or it could be, I just feel neutral. But I'm curious. I might try it. I might try this out and see what it's like to engage Lectio Divina and sit with scripture or any reading and just be with the words on the page and not get into research mode, not get into self-judgment, but to just be with the words on the page and just out of curiosity. How did the question land with you?
It took me back to Houston, Unity Houston, on New Year's Eve, 2002. That's when I first started to shift from my head and trying to control and wanting to figure it out logically and then the resistance and so forth, and started to open my heart a little bit, because on that night I was at the burning bowl. I was walking up to the bowl for the first time. I'd just been in Unity for 30 days. And the senior minister, who had been there forever, was up on the platform, and it's like, I want to do that. And I'm like, no, I don't. All the way back to my seat, right? And it was the weirdest thing I ever experienced, because it was so strong, it caught my attention, and he and I didn't have a connection. Again, I was only at the church for about 30 days consistently, and so I sat back down, and it wouldn't go away. It's like, well, whatever. So what happened was it wouldn't go away. As much as I tried to say, that's crazy, I have this wonderful corporate career, I've been in it forever, why would I want to do this? I just left a Catholic church and nobody likes me anymore in my family, and it was just all this stuff was going on. It's like, this can't be right. This can't be right. But then what I figured out was that the more I resisted it, the more it came back, and it brought its cousins with it. So it got bigger, and I realized, okay, this is something I just at least need to say something out loud to a minister. And so I did, and then that just opened the door. So going forward, sometimes I can still feel that resistance to something different or new, but I go immediately, I'm taken back to that night, and I can replay very quickly the trajectory of change, the change of trajectory that my life took that night. And the journey to today has not all been easy, in this role, and it's been filled with great joy too, but it's in the collective, it's been the absolute best for me. And so I'm able to let go of that. Okay, keep your cousins at bay. I'm going to stay with you right now, and we're just going to continue to move through and ask some of the questions that all three of you have said in terms of just try it, or maybe not now, or all in, kind of thing. So,
Yeah. That's beautiful. And I think, I wonder if what's buried in this question too, the second part, especially when considering working with some heavier fires such as plant medicine, there are spiritual fads, right? There are practices that become, the in kind of practice among different communities. And so I think it could be a question too of, if you're wondering if it's calling to you, to really do some reflection on that. Am I just doing this because everyone else is doing it? That's not necessarily a bad thing, but are we engaging it to truly have an experience, to be open and willing to change and experience a shift, a healing, whatever it might be, wisdom, or simply just communion with the divine in whatever the practice might be, as opposed to doing something because it will make you look more spiritual, right? Doing something to prove either to someone else or to yourself. You know, and that, like, your body will not lie to you about that, not even to yourself. You might convince your mind, you might convince your friends, but you will not convince your body if you are not doing something authentically. And to get really clear about that so that you can actually experience what any spiritual practice is designed for you to experience. And so that you aren't caught up in the external outpicturing of what this looks like if I light sage or incense, you know, whatever the practices might be, but that you're really opening to an internal shift, or to be, I mean, I don't think there's any time that we truly commune with the divine that we walk away untouched or unchanged. So I think that is worth mentioning in this question as well. Anything else?
I guess I just want to add, if it's something that you're concerned in terms of your body, to, you know, make sure, you know, talk to a doctor, a professional, talk to somebody that's going to tell you what, you know, could potentially affect your body. So just to keep that in mind too, from a logical perspective as well.
For sure, that's really important, and that applies to a lot. It applies not just to the plant medicine, but to the breath work, to yoga. What else? I'm trying to think if there was anything else. I heard somebody say something. Okay. But yeah, there could be a lot of things that you want to be sure that you're checking in with a professional. And also, you don't have to just try something on your own. You can. You know, you don't have to just try working with the Enneagram or any of the list of fires that we're on there, working with a labyrinth. You can, but you can also go to someone, be it a minister or a spiritual teacher or online, and find someone who has expertise in that and can help you experience whatever the practice is.
And I'm feeling a little tangent to this question, which is the yes and the no and all that, but what I call divination, you have methods of divination. I mean, you have methods of getting at information that you know is within you, but it's not conscious. What are your methods for getting that? For me, it's like, okay, I'm going to meditate. I'm going to sit here until I get a direction or an answer. I'm going to just sit here and be quiet. Or I'm going to do any number of things. One of them is tarot cards. I have tarot cards, and I don't know anything about tarot cards except if I lay them out loud. And a book that I was into a while back said, okay, just do this, lay them out in this way, and then look at them. And it doesn't matter if it's right or wrong, because you're tapping into yourself for the way that I use it. You're tapping into yourself. So what you see in front of you, what does that mean to you? And if I sit there and go through all the cards that are laid out in front of me, I go, okay, that's what I wanted to know, and it's coming from me. And there are so many ways of getting that. Journaling, right, until you go, oh, there.
There it is.
3 days later, oh, there it is, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So how do you get your yeses and your nos, or your things? How do you go within?
Beautiful. Okay, third question. This is long, but I think it's important to go ahead and read the whole thing. So this came in after last Sunday, and so if you weren't here, what did we do last Sunday?
Poetry.
Yes, we did poetry, but we also, had it in context of what's happening in the country, and with grief that has been felt by so many. I invited people who are celebrating right now to activate empathy and to be present to those who are grieving, and we allowed poetry to work in us. So this question came up after that. I try to live my life positively and not in fear of the future. In chapter 4, the author mentions reframing, taking us from why is this happening to me to how might this be a gift, finding the silver linings in dark clouds. Sunday, so now this is last Sunday, as we went from negativity to transforming our thoughts and hope for a rainbow with live love and love wins and it's all good with the possibility of peace. To me, this was a stellar example of reframing. Thank you. That was the intention. Do you think there will be a silver lining as we move through the next 4 years?
I'm up.
You're
I'm
up.
first.
Gonna toss that.
Stellar question, too. When I first received the question, it took me to a place of a sermon I heard years ago, just online, and it was the idea of what do I know and what do I believe? Two very different things, if you think about it. So when I apply it to this question, I believe, just through faith and my spiritual practices, I believe without a doubt that yes, there will be silver linings showing up over the course of the next four plus years. I don't know what they look like. I don't know what they are. I don't know how they're going to manifest. I don't know any of that, but I believe it. That's just something I have to, it's just calling to me. I have to hold on to that belief. But I also know that a lot of what could become those silver linings over time in a bigger scale starts with me and you and local communities and neighborhoods and apartment complexes and so forth. It starts there. And so what I know is that my financial support of different organizations is going to change. Okay, what I know is I said yes to a new assignment, if you will, with the Good Faith Network to co-chair the new initiative that we have for elder care and moving through the systems around that to improve lives. So those things I know, but I also believe in things that I don't know that clearly. So that to me, that's a personal reframing that I can start on right now and already have, and I can hold the bigger picture for others and for the country and the world for whenever time is perfectly right for those things to come forth.
Beautiful, thank you. What else?
I'll jump in because I feel like it kind of ties in with what you're saying. I like that idea of belief and knowing. And for me, when I read it, the first thing that came to me was the word hope. And that no matter what is happening in the world out there, out there, even in here, the thing that gets me through is hope. And that's my silver lining, the fact that I know that I have this hope within me. In my own life, I've been through a lot of ups and downs, some major transitions, and I've had other people tell me, why are you not on the floor just in a ball crying right now? And it's hope. It's the fact that I know that even in the midst of a transition that looks like chaos, that looks like bleh, that looks like the things that I would identify and label as negative words for me, that even in that, change is happening. And change, transformation, that's why we're here. We are calling forward change and transformation, and we don't know what that outpicturing looks like yet. That's the unknown piece. That's the piece where we could, if we wanted to, choose to curl up on the floor and cry. But for me, hope tells me there's something that's mine to do. So there's more than what I'm in right now. There is something else that's coming out of this, and I can choose to get up off the floor. I can choose to live in hope. I can choose to be an example of love. I can choose joy. I can choose to be compassion in the world. And so hope tells me that there is a silver lining, and the actions, the taking the actions that are mine to do, tells me that there is something worth going on for. That's the silver lining.
Thank you. You have anything, Fred?
No, but I'll talk anyway.
Good.
I'm surprised.
I'm not.
Reading the question, sitting with that question a little bit, one of the things that's really coming to me is, where is my point of power? My point of power is right here, right now, right in this space. And when I get present here, I see so many good things. I see lots of wonderment. I see, I'm taking in this moment, and there is power in that. And I know that if I have power in this moment, then there will be other moments in my future where I'll also have this same power. if something happens in the future that I don't like, I can come back to my power and to what has been said about, okay, then I can choose to live in my power in those moments. I'm going to quibble a little bit, and I like the question, but one of the first things that hit me was silver linings. Why? Nothing bad's happened yet that I can see right here, right now. You know, if you know what I mean by that. Nothing. It's in this moment. It all looks good to me right here and right now. I'm not looking for a silver lining because this pretty much looks golden to me. And tomorrow, I expect it to look golden. And the next day, I expect it to look golden. And then if something happens, yes, I will look for the silver lining. Another way of putting it might be, am I judging this as good or bad? I'm the one that's doing the judging. But it also puts me into a space where I can say, there's something going on here, and is it calling me into my own power again in order to do something out here that I can do something to change? That might be, I take a breath. I love what's ever in front of me, no matter what it is, and then I expand into changing what I see needs to be changed in my life and what's going on around me, and then taking the responsibility, I think you were saying, to choose to do something there. So that's my take on that.
Good. Yeah, that's really important. And you're describing that reframing, right? Why is this happening to me versus how might this be a gift? Nothing has changed but the question, right? Nothing has changed but the attitude or the judgment. And so being really clear at your personal power to choose your judgment about a situation is so important. I will say you can do that curled up in the fetal position on the floor, and if you need to stay there as long as you need to stay there, and allow hope to take hold, allow the reframing to take place and to guide you up and into your power in the upright position as you are ready. There are so many people who it's not just this election. It's this election on top of that shooting, on top of that arrest, on top of that murder, on top of that election, on top of that, on top of that, on top of that. And it's kind of coming to a head. And so I think acknowledging the depth of trauma, generational trauma of decades in specifically marginalized communities is really important. But what I can see coming out of this already is the willingness of people to have the difficult conversations is greater than I've ever seen it in my lifetime. Some of you maybe, if you're on social media, there's this like wear a blue bracelet kind of fad that's going around to show that you're a safe person. And there's a lot of dialogue about this because some people are saying, well, that's just performative. You just put a blue bracelet on, but you don't have to actually do anything to be a safe space for another. But then there's this counter dialogue that's like, wear the blue bracelet, but buy it from a Black-owned business. Buy it from an LGBTQ-owned business. So it takes us, there's a call to a greater authenticity in how we engage and create community. And to me, that's a silver lining. Like that is something that helps me feel hope. That's something that helps me feel like, okay, I'm not alone in this. Other people are seeing that now is the time for the fifth principle, which is to take action. Now is the time to be an outward expression of the light that we are inside, right? To not just navel gaze. Start there, for sure, 100%. And then lift your gaze and reach out in community. The amount of Thanksgivings that have been canceled might not feel like a silver lining, but that's called boundary setting. That's people taking care of their hearts and unwilling to sit at a table where they have to lie or hide a part of themselves, or to be in a space where they don't feel honored. Now, do I want us to stay in that division? No. But the power of setting a boundary is subversion. And I think that can be a healthy subversion in the long run. So I think really keeping open to not isolating this act, this moment, this day, and what's happening right now and how I feel right now, and galvanizing that into for the next 4 years. Like, take this moment as it is and notice, what is the strength? What is yours to do? What is the action that you can take? What does your hope look like when it grows into faith? What does your faith look like when it grows into connection and into love and into wisdom? And I can give you just a quick example. I was feeling on Monday, so we had our service on Sunday, and on Monday, everything just hit me, just my own grief, just my own despair. And so I went for a walk because that's something I know I can do. And I was at the park with my dog, who is precious, and everyone, especially the kids, always want to pet her. And these 3 little girls, they were black, wanted to pet her and asked if they could pet. Well, 2 of them did. And they were little stair steps, probably 3, 4, or 5 years old. And so I stopped, and Bella, my dog, kind of backed up when one of them came forward, because she does that if you lean over her because she's so little. And so I squatted down, and I said, if you squat down, she'll come to you. And she did, so they squatted down. And I noticed the youngest one had stayed kind of far away and was kind of dancing around and moving and saying stuff, but I couldn't understand because there was so much puppy commotion in front of me. And then she said, hey, can you pick up your dog? And I looked at her and I realized it kind of caught up to me what she had been saying. She was afraid of the dog. And so I said, yes, I can pick her up. Are you afraid? And she said, yes. And so I picked Bella up and I said, you can come over here. She won't bite you. And when she came over, I never would have done this, but I think I was in such a space of needing connection and needing safety for myself. I said to her, I said, thank you for telling me how you were feeling, and thank you for telling me what you needed to feel safe. And she just looked at me and smiled, and she still didn't get too close to Bella, but she was over with us and not feeling left out. And I think taking moments like those to just slow down enough and to connect and to say the things that you're feeling in your outside voice that can be connective and affirming for other people. Teaching our children that, yes, speak up when you feel afraid, and speak up when you know what you need to help you. So I think those are things that we can do, and we don't have to give in to overwhelm, because it can feel, when we look at the systemic level, it can feel like we are powerless. But we are the power. There is only one power, and it is us, right? That is the truth.
Boy, what you did for that little girl. I mean, yes, it spoke to your heart in ways that you were grieving, but that little girl feels validated.
Yeah,
You know,
I hope so.
I'm saying it right now, she's not going to grow up feeling less of herself, because she stood her ground, she drew a boundary, and you brought her in safely so that she could say what was on her heart. My God. I mean,
That's
just
how we
huge.
rewrite those social
Yes,
dynamics, right? As we
absolutely.
do in those little interactions day by day. And it was a teaching moment for me. I mean, I did the thing, but it was really afterwards that I realized what I had done, and it was like, okay, hold on to that and look for those opportunities. And, how often we just stay quiet and stay polite, or just stay, avoidant of anything that might be challenging. But I leaned in, and she, shouted, hey, can you pick up your dog? And so now I know too, the next time, because I will often see kids who are like, no thanks, that maybe if I just pick the dog up. And so I learn, and she learns. Yeah. All right, we got one more question. And I think just briefly, why would we talk about plant medicine when so many struggle with addiction? I think that's an important question, because in the book, the author does talk about addiction a little bit. I personally wish there would have been more about that. And I don't think we really touched on it at all, because it coincided with the Dia de los Muertos service, and we did the cacao ceremony. And I think it's really important, when he did talk about addiction in the book, part of what he wanted to educate on is that some plant medicine, when done clinically, is being used to cure addiction. So research is showing what indigenous people have known for many, many years about the power of plant medicine. But what has happened, especially in Western culture with plant medicine, is that it has been used recreationally. It has been used to control people, right? And it has been used against people. And then there is this disease of addiction that we have taken so long to understand, and I don't know that we truly understand it. But what studies are showing, again, is that in controlled environments, that there are some plant medicines that are being used to help cure addiction. And so I think it's important to speak into it, especially in spiritual communities which have been so judgmental about people who experience addiction, been so judgmental about the use of plant medicine. We can't even really figure it out from a legal standpoint. Every state has its own idea about what's legal or not. And so I appreciate that that he included this in this book, because it is a fire. It is something that has been used in spiritual practice since the beginning of humanity. And so I really appreciate that. What do you guys think?
Well, I'm going to pull it just a little bit. I appreciate that there was the recognition of addiction within the book. I also like that he included plant medicines that are non-addictive, that are non-controversial, if you will, in talking about, say, Hildegard de Bingen and the work that she did in Germany. And she was a Benedictine abbess, and she worked with plant medicine, but she worked with oregano and thyme and lavender. And these are things that actually call to me. And so when somebody says plant medicine, I mean, that's where my head goes, right? It's like, oh, the jar of lavender in the cupboard, right? And so I just want us to remember that while he's saying, you know, these are lots of different things that are used, that they're not all things that necessarily would be addictive substances. We did the cacao ceremony here. So just looking at, you know, where are plants, that earth-based medicine, calling to us in our everyday lives? And yes, there are the others as well that have been used. And so I appreciated sort of that balance. It was a long chapter.
It was very long. Yeah.
So I appreciated others being included as well.
Any thoughts, Fred?
Just that, you know, indigenous peoples have used plant medicine all over the planet since the beginning. And as a spiritual practice, also, what I alluded to before, in that the book is giving us all of these ideas and concepts, all of these fires, and nobody is going to do all of them. They're not for everybody, but it's just, here's a particular fire that now we're aware of, right? And so there's something about the exposure to the idea that is valuable. And then we can have the conversation about addiction, like we are having right now. So that's why I think what coming together in community is all about. I want to just say, coming together in community, I wanted to lop on to the previous question. Coming together in community, but I'm preaching to the choir because you're all here. So, you know, just don't forget your communities, your family, this community, wherever your communities are as you move through these times.
Thank you.
I think what I would just add to that is, along with this particular topic, in our roles, on any given Sunday or any given memorial service we facilitate, even weddings, we have no idea what 95% of the people that are going to be there are bringing with them, whether it's just in the last week they had or a lifetime. You know, some of you, honor us in sharing some of the most intimate details of your lives, and not everybody does. And so we do our very best, I believe. I'm speaking for all ministers, at least within Unity. We do our best that when a topic comes up that we feel called to speak to, or an author presents to us, we try to say, okay, we're going to talk with this and acknowledge in ways it might land a little more tenderly for someone that we don't know. So when you did it, the author did it, you were just saying it too, I think both of you, is that we acknowledge that there's this piece of this topic that is really a challenge for a lot of, or has been for a lot of people, or has been misused or abused in different ways. And there's that piece that was brand new to me, that some of these practices are actually helping people that are moving through addictive experiences. I had no idea that that was possible. So I think that when we acknowledge the whole picture and hopefully invite people into a safe space, even if it might be uncomfortable or bring up some wounds or hurts and so forth, that they know that they're in a safe space of community. And they don't have to say anything about what's going on in their own life, but they hopefully will feel a little bit safe. So that's the one thing, that was the one topic or the one fire that I really felt, if I would ever speak of something like this, I would want to lay a lot of context. I'd like to lay just a lot of acknowledgement of what I don't know about the people in the room, and I'm coming from a place of love and so forth. So.
Yeah, that's so important. Thank you for saying that.
Sure.
Yeah. And so all of these fires, this has been a journey for us, a collective journey. And so I hope you have discovered something new that resonated with you that you didn't know. And perhaps you became more clear about something that doesn't resonate with you, and it still doesn't. But again, it's always about, we come together to explore more of who we are as divine beings and how to live as divine beings and how to use those spiritual tools in our daily lives. We are, practical Christianity is what Charles Fillmore and Myrtle Fillmore were after for us. And so we, in that tradition, bring all of these ideas forward for each of us to take home and use between Sundays, right? All right, so I think we are complete with that. We're almost past time. Yeah. All right, so we are complete with that, and we'll move into a time of meditation. Thank you. Right where you are at your table, or for those of you in the virtual balcony, make yourselves comfortable in your space. Settle in with the breath. And then the knowing of our own personal power, empowered through the divine spark in each and every one of us. We allow gratitude to move in us for this spiritual community, gratitude for liberty and spiritual freedom to explore and discover new ways to experience our divinity in our humanity. So even in this meditation, if you haven't already, I invite you to close your outer eyes or simply soften your gaze as you open to the vast expanse of the universe living inside you. The place of possibility, creativity, wisdom, love, always resonating in your soul, the inner terrain of your heart. We allow gratitude to swell. For this life, for this day, gratitude. Feel the presence of gratitude in the body. Notice, what does it light up in you? Do you see pictures in your mind of people for whom you are grateful, of belongings for which you are grateful? Is it simply a sense of belonging right here in this space that sparks gratitude for you? Do you feel lighter, more connected to your lightness in this gratitude? Do you feel more capable? Do you feel inspired, connected? And I invite you to expand that gratitude even beyond your own body and aura into this space. Fill it with your gratitude. Push beyond the boundaries of wall and ceiling and rooftop and allow this power of gratitude, ignited in hope and faith for all that has been, for all that is right now, and for all that will be. And this gratitude does not take us away from all that is, good, bad, ugly, glorious. It roots us in the truth that all is well, that all is good, and that we are the manifestors of that good. It roots us in possibility. It roots us in curiosity of what is ours to do, what is mine to do, what is mine to do. And if in this moment, being in gratitude is all that you can do, that is more than enough. So we invite this gratitude to guide us into the next moment, into action in which we live the truth we know. We connect in community, one with another, and remind us whose and whose we are, who and whose we are, the beloved, the light. And we remind each other of the goodness in the world.
You, God.
And so it is.
Thank you, God. Thank you, God. I just want to thank you. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. I just want to thank you, God.
And so let's just take that wonderful energy of gratitude into our time of offering for today. And I ask that as you either take your offering in your hand, hold it in your heart, that at the same time you add into your heart gratitude for the financial abundance that we received as a part of our gala and fundraising event the other night, so that all of this wonderful support just is doubly blessed and energized to do all that we're called to do as this ministry. So would you join with me in blessing these financial gifts together? Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am joy-filled and grateful.
boldly walk across the desert with no shoes upon my feet to share with you the last bite of bread I had to eat. I would swim out to save you in your sea of broken dreams, but all your hopes are sinking. Let me show you what love means. Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? I would whisper love so loudly every heart would understand that love and only love can join the tribes of man. I would give my heart's desire so you might see the first step is to realize that it all begins with you and me. Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? When we stand together, it's our finest hour. We can do anything, anything, if we keep believing in the power between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? Between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time?
Thank you, Millie Edwards, Reverend Fred, and the UCOP band. Thank you so much. This month, we are appreciating our flowers team. So if you serve on the team who brings flowers week after week for our altar, please stand so we can show you our love and appreciation. Thank you. All right, tomorrow evening, the Yarn Blessings will meet at 6 p.m. And today we have lots of leftover food from Friday. It's so delicious. So I know we've gone long today, but go ahead and go in there and get yourself a snack before you head out to, I'm sure, watch the Chiefs game. Also, there's the wine out there, so don't forget, $20 gets you a really nice bottle of wine, and it helps us do all of the things that we do and fulfill our mission statement. So let's speak our mission statement together now. Unity Church of Overland Park transforms lives and empowers people to make a difference in the world. Yes, we do. That is the silver lining. We manifest that silver lining through our actions. Next week, Reverend Jen Hutchins will deliver the Sunday talk, Count Your Blessings. So I want to give you a reminder on Saturday to come for the folks giving brunch and bring something. The church will provide turkey, ham, and I think Reverend Eileen is bringing mimosas. Hey. All right, so you bring something to share with everyone, and we'll have a brunch together and celebrate what it means to be in the power of community, supporting our LGBTQ brothers and sisters and family who often struggle during the holiday season. So let's come together in gratitude. And I invite you now to stand for our closing song.
Shine, be glorious, reflect the divine. Shine, be glorious, reflect the divine. Spirit of mine, Spirit divine, let me shine your light. Shine.
Please take this time and greet each other. Welcome each other with a handshake or a hug.
Let me be a vessel, let me be a vessel, let me be a vessel of love. Let me be a vessel, let me be a vessel, let me be a vessel of love. Shine, be glorious, reflect your divine. Shine, be glorious, reflect your divine. Spirit of mine, Spirit divine,
Let me shine your light.
And from right where you are, join me in the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And all is well. And all shall be well. And all manner of things shall be well. For there is a force of love moving through the universe that holds us fast and will never let us go. Bless you.